You don't know the journey I've been on to get here. If my family could take this mic, they could keep you for the next hour telling you all the things that probably they fell out under the power right now for some reason. My dad was an incredible man. He had to make this journey because we weren't taught this. My wife started leading worship in our church, in our first church that we pastored. And my dad didn't come. My mom's here. My dad didn't come for 2 years to my church. Lived 20 miles away because he didn't believe a woman was supposed to be in leadership on the pulpit. There's things I suppressed in Kathy because the church taught me. She'd say, this is what I'm feeling. I said, you can't be feeling that. That's not God. She would cry herself to sleep at night. She said to me, she said, I believe the Lord's told me that I'm supposed to lead worship and operate prophetically. I said, not in my church, that's not going to happen. Not in my church. You say, how could you be so stupid? I don't know. I had a desire to please God. And that's what the church taught me. I remember the day I had to go to her and repent. I wept. I remember the day my dad said to me when he was getting ill and no longer able to be in church as much as he wanted to be, he said, the thing I'll miss most is being where Kathy leads worship. We were programmed by certain things that created identities that are not in the Bible. Oh, can I do one more? I mean, I'm hurrying. I'm almost done. We were taught in the church that if your skin was a certain color, it was because of a curse that had come on your race because of something that Ham did in the Old Testament, or Cain. And therefore, this is what the church taught. You were 3/5 of a person. You weren't a whole person. You were 3/5 of a person. And therefore, people that were white not only wouldn't worship with people of color, they would never think of going to a church that was led by somebody of color. Because the church taught us there was a dominant race. We classified people by the curls in their hair. I remember when I was a teenager, we had a black sister come to our church one Sunday night. She came in. It was a Pentecostal church. She didn't know any better. She came. She came bringing her tambourine, worshiping in this all-white church. This is no story. My mother will verify this. That night, they took our pastor to the hospital with a heart attack. He had heart trouble because a black sister showed up with her tambourine in this all-white church. And you want to know why he had a heart attack? It wasn't because he was a loving man. He's one of the most loving men I knew. Everybody in the city loved him. Black, white, brown, it didn't matter. Everybody loved him. But he knew he had some deacons that were so churched in religion that they were going to maybe take his job because he'd let a black woman walk down the aisle with her tambourine and dance. I want to tell you something. The Gate Church has been raised up for such a time as this because we're not getting our identity out of our history and out of crazy church doctrine that didn't come out of the Bible. It came out of somebody's back room. We are the people of God. Oh, I wish somebody'd shout with me. We are uncommon.